The teaching of memory techniques can begin quite early in the dyslexic learner's development and can be repeated regularly if required. As well as the technique shown, it's an important confidence-building exercise, showing dyslexic learners, who often have difficulties with their working memory, that they can develop ways to remember sequences or strings of instructions. Useful resources for teaching this session might include whiteboards and coloured markers, and plain paper and writing pens.
What we're going to try and retain is the number.
Antony starts the lesson by writing a long sequence of numbers on the board. Remembering this sequence could be a daunting prospect for a dyslexic learner, but Antony begins by encouraging Alex to break it up into smaller sections or chunks.
That's a pretty long number when you read it all together. If we break it up into little segments, all of a sudden, it's not so big, it's not so bad. All right?
One of the techniques we use is chunking, especially with a large number. It's abstract when it's in that form, and what we try and do is make it segmented first of all, so you're not dealing with lots of numbers in a row that mean nothing, and thereafter we attach meaning to each one of the segments, because that's the way that you can remember the information.
Antony then encourages Alex to attach a visual meaning to each chunk.
Right. These two bunny rabbits are running away from two snakes. This is the little snake, and that's the older snake that's chasing them.
Knowing that she loves rabbits and also snakes helps him to find a way to pictorialize the first section of numbers.
Essentially, you can try and use as many techniques as possible. The ones that speak most to yourself. I mean, the teaching and learning process is bespoke on both sides. So it needs to be tailor-made to the learner, but you need to be comfortable delivering the information too. If you're bringing in a sort of teaching practice which you don't feel comfortable with, you won't be effective. So make sure that you draw on those techniques which resonate within yourself.
What's your house like? When you start off at your front door and you go in, what's on your left-hand side?
My study.
Your study, all right? Is there a nice chair in that study?
Yeah.
The second chunk is remembered as the age of an old man sitting in a chair.
What does he look like?
He's small, wrinkly, had grey hair.
And Antony uses a mathematical link to remember the numbers in the final chunk.
And we could think of 50, because 50 is a nice, round, memorable number. But it's 4 less than 50, would you agree? Yeah? And how we can remember that is 4 take away from 50 equals 46. Make sense?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm going to be really
At the end of the exercise, Alex is asked to write the number herself.
If she hadn't copied out the number as was on the board, I would have failed in my practice. She needs to show the proof. She's the one that needs to benefit ultimately.
337910. Perfect. Really, really, really well done, Alex, okay? Magic. You can use that technique whenever you like.
So to recap the main points for teaching memory technique. Break the sequence down into smaller chunks. Find pictorial, narrative, or mathematical ways to remember chunks. Let the learner develop their own memory tools. Test the process each time with a written exercise.